It looks like there's some issues going on with Warzone lately, and it's causing a lot of pretty big fans of the Battle Royale to basically abandon ship because of what's been happening. Aside from the problems that are plaguing the regular Warzone matches, Warzone Ranked players are also facing a huge issue right now, and are even getting penalized for issues that are completely outside of their control. So this is a pretty annoying situation for sure, and that's what we're going to be discussing for today's video. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all our latest videos. Alright, let's get right into it. Warzone, like Black Ops 6, has been facing a ton of problems lately, and a lot of people are basically calling the game unplayable in this state, and if not unplayable or anything, it's at least in a rough place right now. People are experiencing insane stutters, lag, server connection errors, and there's apparently been just a massive slew of hackers and cheaters in both Warzone and Warzone Ranked, and that it's basically become almost impossible for regular players to really enjoy the game like they used to, which is wild. Now, granted, not everyone is experiencing these issues or at the same magnitude, but it seems like there's enough talk about it that it's definitely a serious problem that enough people are facing. In fact, Raven Software basically admitted that Warzone's anti-cheat integration wasn't good enough in Season 1, especially when it comes to ranked play. So in response to these problems, Ricochet Anti-Cheat is going to start implementing something called a kernel level driver, and there's also going to be some server-side protections launching in both Seasons 2 and 3. Now, we don't have a lot more information about these things just yet, nor how the implementation is going to look like, because Activision confirmed that more news will come out closer to the season release dates, so we'll basically have to wait until close to the end of January to hear anything about that. These things definitely do take time to implement, but it would be nice to hear more from Activision's teams about what they're working on so that we can get more reassurance that something is actually being done to mitigate all these issues, because the problem isn't just existent in Warzone, but it's also a problem in Black Ops 6 and ranked multiplayer and Warzone Ranked. Now, kernel level anti-cheat is supposed to basically be the most powerful level of anti-cheat we have right now, and what it does is that it identifies things like hacks and malware and these sorts of softwares directly on the computer that is running them, so it gets into deeper levels than your standard anti-cheat system would. Some people don't like how invasive it is, but I guess this is a natural progression of things because the level of issues being faced in Call of Duty is really high. A lot of people were hoping that January 3rd's update would include some anti-cheat fixes, but we didn't really get that, which is definitely unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm skeptical, but hopefully the fixes that come out with Season 2's launch are worth the wait, and that they actually address all of these major problems with the cheating in both Warzone and Black Ops 6. The January 3rd update introduced, of course, the new Squid Game event, which if you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can go and check out my video on it, but alongside the Squid Game event were some changes made to zombies and things of that nature, but apparently there have been some new glitches that sorta got added into the mix as well. So the biggest glitch right now that's been affecting lots of players relates mostly to Warzone Ranked, where a player crashes or gets a dev error and the game instead thinks that the player actually intentionally left the match. So if you're unfamiliar with how Ranked works, if you leave a match intentionally, you get penalized for that because it puts a team at a disadvantage to lose a player, so you don't want to have that happen in a more competitive setting like Ranked play. With the penalties, players are getting 15-minute suspensions, and not only that, but you lose 50 SR because you're basically going to lose 5 SR for 10 consecutive matches, which is absolutely ridiculous for something that is completely outside the player's hands. SR is a big thing to gain in Ranked, and it can be tough to actually gain that, and losing SR makes it so that your rank could actually go down after you worked so hard for it. It doesn't sound like a lot at face value, but it's painful to see when the problem was entirely not on your own end as a player. This isn't even the first time that SR has been affected by glitches on Call of Duty's end, because some time ago a glitch caused players to lose SR even after winning a match of Ranked play. Now, Raven did fix the issue pretty fast, so it didn't continue affecting players for too long, but the SR lost wasn't gained back. So whatever hard work those players put in was basically put to waste. Even in standard Ranked, according to Charlie Intel, there's been a huge issue with hackers where players are getting their servers shut down, games are being crashed, and even more. Ranked players themselves are reporting that there are players in their matches with obvious aimbotting, wall hacks, and other cheating software, and that it's making playing the game just a drag, especially when you're getting to the higher levels of Ranked like Diamond, Crimson, Iridescent, things like that. Now, yes, recently around 20,000 accounts were banned from Call of Duty over cheating, and now account bans are happening every hour as a part of some new anti-cheat fixes that are being implemented. So at least enforcement is apparently going to be faster, which is definitely better so that these sorts of issues can be addressed quickly and that players can actually enjoy the game instead of having to deal with people who are just ruining the experience. Now, there's a lot of issues surrounding Warzone in general, and many people online are talking about how Warzone has basically ruined the Call Call of Duty franchise and how Warzone's introduction was the thing that harmed the franchise more than anything else. There's some counter arguments to this, of course, but I'll discuss both aspects to this debate because it does go a bit deeper, you know what I mean? Basically, when Warzone came out, I feel like it definitely helped grow the franchise again to unprecedented levels. It was also one of the only battle royale games to give the sort of gunplay that makes Call of Duty so good, while still being also free to play. For people who like battle royales or want a free Call of Duty experience, obviously Warzone is a no-brainer because it does what games like Fortnite and PUBG can't, which is a Call of Duty experience. Fortnite, as great as it may be for some, it isn't everyone's type of game. Also, Warzone helped to bring tons of players to Modern Warfare 2019, and that has in turn led to a lot of players being added to the franchise in general. Activision also gained a ton of revenue off of Warzone, even more than they did off of the base game, so obviously Warzone has worked out for a lot of people in this whole situation. However, Warzone also really introduced a lot of problems with it. Firstly, Warzone integration within multiplayer has caused a lot of issues in maintaining massive file sizes, which is a reason why so many updates in the past were so large, like 30 plus gigabytes on PC for instance. Also, Warzone integration has made it sort of crazy with just how many Call of Duty games are being pushed into a single launcher. Not only that, but the quantity of microtransactions has definitely gone up a lot since Warzone came out, because with a free-to-play game, you make money from microtransactions like battle passes and skin bundles and things like that, but that's also affected multiplayer. Some people care, others don't, but it's definitely something that's notable enough. Recently, Scump, who's of course a big name in the Call of Duty scene, said that he feels like Warzone and multiplayer should be split and that different teams should be handling those. He says that Warzone is basically where the moment Call of Duty started going downhill, and a lot of players agree that too much effort is being put into Warzone and not enough effort is actually being put into the base game, which is causing all these issues to keep running rampant because nobody's really paying attention to the multiplayer in the same way that they are to Warzone, and even then, it seems like things are just too complex to the point where nobody is paying attention enough to anything. Sure, Omni movement's been pretty cool in multiplayer, but the issues like maps, spawns, and other things in multiplayer have really made people feel like it's just sort of an afterthought for the devs over at Activision. Some players, and I've seen this a lot online lately, are wondering why something like Warzone 1 just can't come back. Warzone 1 was definitely in a better state than Warzone 2, plus a lot of people are still upset over how much they lost from battle passes and skin bundles from Warzone 1, because that stuff just didn't port over to Warzone 2. So this was a big issue, and even FaZe Swag talked to the devs about it, and they basically told him that Warzone 1's just not coming back because it's just not possible. The devs basically told him that Warzone 1 was basically just a Build-A-Bear, like small pieces put on top of each other in a very complex way. Also, they said that Warzone 2 and the rest of the updates that have come out since have all been made on one engine, and that the original was on a different engine. With Warzone 1, we had the integration of Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops Cold War, and Vanguard all in one, but they were all still stuck on the old engine that Warzone 1 used. So then basically they had to move over to a new engine, that being the engine they created for Modern Warfare 2, and so they had to create a whole new Warzone. I mean, I'm assuming that when they release a new engine, something similar is going to happen because of this integration system that they've created. So some people think that the two things should remain on separate systems with separate engines so that we can avoid this weird sort of quilt patchwork situation that's going on with Warzone, and that the multiplayer games don't have to deal with Warzone either, and that two teams are working on them at the same time so that work can actually be done equally for each game. Because each game really does have its own group of people that play it. A lot of people only play Warzone. A lot of people only play Black Ops. A lot of people play both. So, you know, having two separate teams would be able to actually mitigate the situations for both groups of players. A lot of people also aren't fans of movement in Warzone 2. They like the movement from the first Warzone iteration a lot more. Verdansk is going to be making a comeback sometime in 2025, but a lot of people speculate that that's just not really enough to help Warzone, and that the devs cannot rely on nostalgia to get players back, which is true. They'll have to do more, and I think the biggest priority is trying to address the issue with hackers and cheaters. Having to wait a good 2 and some months since Black Ops 6's release to address this issue is definitely not ideal in the slightest. Sure, there's going to be some fixes in Season 2, but we can't really say that it'll be implemented correctly with 100% certainty. Plus, with the fact that they said that Season 3 is also going to get some fixes, that means that the problem probably isn't really going to go down all that much just yet. I'm definitely hoping though that they do actually implement things really well in Season 2 and that the problem gets fixed fast, because the state of Warzone right now is pretty sad. Some people have even said that Call of Duty should stop releasing the game on PCs because hacking issues just tend to come from PC now. As a PC player myself, I wouldn't really advocate for that, but I can see why some people are frustrated with the PC side of things. I think in and of itself, Black Ops 6 is a good game. I've been playing it all the time. I've been having a blast with it despite the problems that do exist. Personally, server connection has been fine on my end. I did experience a couple of lag issues here and there, but it's really like 1 out of every 20 games sort of a situation. I don't know if I've run into any obvious hackers. I suspected one time when I was playing Warzone that I did, but I'm not sure if that was just bad reaction time on my end or if that person genuinely was hacking. But again, I didn't really notice these issues insanely existent in my lobbies. But of course, if a lot of people are talking about these things, you know, it's clearly hurting the overall player experience. And even with Warzone, this is being felt. I don't think that these issues will necessarily be the end of Call of Duty. They won't destroy the franchise. It's still a really popular, highly played game, but I think that they definitely need to address these problems as fast as possible, ASAP, because it is affecting a lot of people and it is really dominating the discourse around Call of Duty right now, and that's not a good thing. I'm hoping that some changes are implemented soon and that Warzone and Black Ops 6 will get these sorts of quality issues sorted out, because a lot of people are feeling the effects, you know, on both multiplayer and Warzone, and that's just not good. In any case though, I'll wrap things up there. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to share, like, and subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss out on another upload. Comment below what your thoughts are on all this news about Warzone and Black Ops 6, and yeah, that's all for today, folks.
Secure it, Charlie.